I guess we can just go ahead and get started, and some of it will be, well, a lot of it will just kind of be overview, just to kind of get the rhythm and habit of how we do this. So what I'll start off with is the order that I was sent by Christian, usually just through email. And it looks like today we're going to have Welcome to Calvary Connect as the beginning with Noah. Then we're going to go into Sam, and then to Arturo for kids ministry. He said it's going to be a long one, so we'll see what the timing comes out to, but we'll basically go through all of these and then see where we're at. The only thing I've done so far is pretty much I've made a new folder for March 05, 2023, and I went back from my prior project and just basically copied this project file itself. And then I'm going to go into March, and then I just kind of copied and pasted that project file and then renamed it so it's March, just so I have something to start with. So we'll go ahead and launch our March project. We'll have some new video files that we haven't used before, so I'll have to kind of look at the takes and see which one's best and start assembling it that way. All right. So looking at my timelines here, I had a few of them from when I last was editing. Christian had requested a Spanish ministry promo that was just the Spanish ministry. So that's what this timeline is. I'm just going to close it out. There was a trimmed version for February 26th for social media that doesn't have the countdown. And I'm going to get rid of that one as well. This, I'm just going to click out of. And we don't need probably January 1st. It's a bit slow right now, but we're just going to clean up our old timelines that I was referencing on the last edit. Okay. So from here, one thing that it might be good moving forward is just to have like a clean template that doesn't have a lot of the extra B-roll and everything in here. But right now, as I'm still kind of modifying graphics and I'm updating them from time to time, I don't have like a rock solid template that I know for sure I'm going to be stuck with. So each week, if I modify something, I just want to use what I had used from the week before. And that's kind of the simplest way to move forward on my end. But eventually, you might get a clean template where it's just kind of like the graphics that we always keep and some of the sound effects and audio files that we keep. But for now, I'm just going to delete the opening sequence that has Andrew. And according to this, we're going to want to try Noah's invite. So off to the left, under the project bin, if I go down to Calvary Connect, or is it Welcome? What is it called? Countdown. Okay, Welcome Calvary Connect is the name of it. That's how we typically open. And right now it's in list view, so I can't really see who's opening it. So I'm going to go to my thumbnail view again. And of course, it changed my view, so I can't really see what's going on, but I'm just going to try and find that welcome. I can hit the tilde key, which will explode it out and make it very large so I can see it a little bit easier. Welcome Calvary Connect. There we go. And I want to see if the new versions are even in here. I see the old ones, which has the old backdrop. They're here. And then the blue ones, cool, they're showing up here too. And I see I have Noah here, one there, and then one here. So I'm just going to kind of double click on the first one for Noah, scrub back to the beginning, play it once and just see how clean it is. And I know you won't probably be able to hear it, and I'm not hearing it either because it's not coming out of my headphones. And so to hear it out of your headphones, you might have to go to Preferences, Audio Hardware, and I'm on Logitech headset. So that's good now. That's the default output. So now anything coming out of Premiere should be coming out of my headphones, which I can hear it, but again, I doubt you will be able to. So there again, I just waited for Noah right before he started to speak, and then I hit the I on the keyboard for input. And then O for out. Seemed to be fine. It's a really short delivery, so it's pretty hard to screw that one up. Probably either one would work, but I'll just see if this one's any better. 3, 2, 1. That second one seemed a little less rushed, so I'm gonna just go ahead and use it. So since I have the in and out set, I can just kind of drag it down, place it underneath, and just start to assemble the edit. Again, it's going to be larger than my canvas because we shot in 4K and we're putting it onto a 1920 by 1080 timeline. So I'm going to double click on Noah, go to effects, scale down to 50% because that's half of the 4K footage size. I have Pastor Andrew's lower third here, and I'm not going to, well, I'm going to be using it a little bit later when he comes up for men's breakfast. So I'm just going to be setting it off to the side so I can reference it later. And it looks like he delivered the opening last week. And so I can just move this lower third over and repurpose it. But he isn't going to do the first time visitors announcement this week. This week it's going to be Sam. So I'm just going to delete Noah's first time visitors announcement. I'm just going to zoom in on here using my little scroll bar. Again, you can use the plus and minus on the keyboard if you want to zoom in and zoom out. Sometimes I just like to use the scroll bar. Either way works. So I'm just going to highlight this version of Noah doing the first time announcements, and now I'm going to look for Sam. So these bins can again get a little bit confusing. The bin that I'm in right now is in the Welcome Calvary Connect. But what I want to get to, and if you want to see what all of your options are, you want to get back to the home folder, which is the project tab. Basically, we're just inside of a folder or what they call bins for organizing. But I want to go back to the main project because I need to find the first time visitors folder. And if I can find it in thumbnail view, it looks like I can, then great. Again, it went back to the list view when I jumped inside of it. So I'm going to go over to thumbnail and I can see Sam here, and he's going to be, I think actually, no, I think I might have grabbed a version of Sam before on first time visitors. I don't know. Well, anyway, he's got 3 versions, one of which I can see this little light that's creeping in. I don't know if you can see it, but off to the side here, this is like a hotspot from a window that was kind of creeping in. So as long as this earlier version is clean, I think I'm going to be using it. And I can see just by double clicking on it that I had used it before because I had these in and out points already set. And these other two I don't. So that just tells me I've already used it once before in a project, and I thought that was the best take. So I'm going to move it over. Right now, I'm kind of just lining it up, just someplace where it's getting close to where that transition is showing up, but not too far to where like this swoop, like this audio, you can see where it's going to be making the sound for the swoop, kind of a whoosh sound. And I don't want him to be coming up too loud when he's speaking. So I'm just going to find where, yeah, somewhere around there is probably good. And also for Sam, going to make him a little bit smaller. So I'm going to double click on the video file, go to effects, scale, just type in 50 and should be smaller. How's everything so far, Mitch? Is it what you remembered last time?
Yeah, pretty straightforward for the most part.
So from here, again, if I move back the transition, and you'll see it doesn't like, it probably looks a little stuttery on your end too. It's just a little slow anytime you've got that red. That means it has to render. And depending on what graphics card you have at home or on the iMac, you may have to render more than you would like. If it's green like this, that means you can hit the space bar and it'll play back in real time really fast. But if it's red, it has to like process and think really hard. So that's why it's kind of like stuttery anytime we have some graphics or other things going on it. It just kind of is pushing it a little bit harder. So what I don't want, again, on these transitions, I don't like these black, that's like no video underneath. And I could just drag out Sam's clip so it's a little bit longer. But then again, sometimes that audio, they might be saying something that I don't want. So if you hold the Alt key while you grab the audio, you can just grab pieces of the audio without grabbing the video. And that just allows me, I can see the blue background coming through now. And then when I move through the transition, when it's wiping, I know it's not going to just be a black screen and then have Sam pop on. But I didn't necessarily want, the 3-2-1 or other things going on right before it. And let's just see what it looks like on the back end of this. 1-2, Noah smiles. Just kind of going frame by frame. I'm using the right and left arrow key just to scrub through frame by frame. And again, I'm getting that black screen underneath that I don't want. So I'm just going to move all the way into where the transition's fully closed. Hold the Alt key just to bring the video, not the audio of Noah, and just extend it out. So now I know both ends have a clean edit. So glad you're here with us today. You can receive a visitor's gift by going to the hub. He's not talking about the website yet, so I'm just going to move the website graphic down a little bit. Also, we want to remind you, check out our website, click on the New Here tab, fill out the Connect form so we can connect with you. Welcome to our church, and we hope you feel the love of the Lord here. So we ended that up. Good. So now we've got Noah down, we've got Sam down, and we're going to be going to the kids ministry info meeting. And I'm assuming that's a new one that we haven't done before. Arturo Kid Ministry. I don't think that's the right one. This one's talking about the nursery needing volunteers. Kids Ministry info meeting. So this is when I would go back to some of our takes that I haven't necessarily brought in yet. And here I see one that says Arturo Kids Ministry Meeting. And this is a group of folders right here, everything that pretty much says on 2/9/2023 from like here down to here are all folders that Christian had put together for takes for each of the different announcements. And if I don't have this one already, and it's hard to see sometimes in thumbnail view, that's why I like to bounce back to list view sometimes. I can see Arturo guest speaker, Arturo kids ministry volunteer, nope. VBS planning, nope. So what was that one? Arturo Kids Ministry. I'm going to go ahead and just move that folder. Make sure it's not like highlighted on another folder. Otherwise, it's just going to place it inside of that folder, but you can just drag and drop. So I'm just going to go off to the side a little bit so it unhighlights. Notice how it's highlighted there. I don't want to drop it there. I'm just going to move it over a little bit more, and then it'll just place it in between in the next one in line. So now we've got a couple takes, it looks like, for Arturo's kids ministry. Let's look at take one. Looks like it's got that white sunbeam coming through the window, but it's on both of them, so that's fine. We'll just take the best one. 3, 2, 1. Good morning, Arturo here, and we're having a kids ministry meeting. Lunch will be provided, but you must RSVP. Okay, decent take. We could potentially use that one. Let's see if he nails this one any better. 3, 2, 1. Good morning. Lunch will be provided. You must RSVP. Okay, both of them are good. Usually, if in doubt, the last take is usually the one I go for, but notice here again, I don't have a lot of space to throw it in because I have some of these other events from last time. Luckily enough, the next one in line is Arturo, so we're just going to be replacing him. So I'm going to just take his old footage, and he'll have his lower third here that I can reuse, but I'm not going to use these kids ministry graphics, and we won't be needing the ministry application graphic on this one. So I'm just going to drag this in, and we can move over the transition so it's a little bit closer to this guy. I'm just going to move it down too to keep it a little cleaner. And somewhere in there, I'll polish these transitions up a little bit. I don't want to spend a lot of time with them right now, but that should be close. Okay, let's make him 50%. And some of these, again, I'm just doing 50% just to see what it looks like at the widest. Oh boy. But I might be bumping up to 60, 70%, 80% later on. So one thing I'm seeing here, because it's such a white backdrop, it's going right into the text. So I'm going to double click on the text and double click on Arturo. And let's see here. What do you want to do? Text 1, text 2, tail box skew. I was hoping, so in this view, sometimes you're able to put just like a drop shadow within this view. I just want to put some black around the text. Could either be a stroke or a drop shadow, just so it kind of pops out from the back white backdrop. So what we can do is go to our effects panel, and usually we're kind of in the project panel where we get all of our footage and everything, but I'm going to go to effects this time. And I'm just going to type in shadow. And this is just pretty much any effect that you want to place in Premiere. You can just type in on this little finder. And here I found one that's called drop shadow. I'm just going to drag and drop it onto Arturo. And you can see it's a little bit easier to read now, but not quite as good as I would like. So what I'll do now is I'll double click on the text, go back to effect controls. Effect controls are where you can change a lot of the different parameters. And one of the parameters that I have now, besides like the scale and the position and everything else like you have on pretty much every other clip and opacity, but since I drag that effect of a drop shadow, I can grab the values of the drop shadow. Right now it's only at 50% intensity. I could go up to 100 and you'll notice it's going to be a lot more of a drastic kind of pop. I can change the distance of the drop shadow. Usually I don't want to change too much. And then I can soften it up a little bit, just kind of to taste. There's no real right or wrong here. If you do a really crisp, hard sharp drop shadow, it almost becomes just like a stroke. But if you want, you can kind of modify these. You can even change the direction of the drop shadow by moving the direction here. So wherever it just kind of looks good. All right, I'll just call it good. At least I can kind of see that was before, and you can click on this effects button to ever turn off or on an effect if you want to see what you've kind of messed around with. But okay, I'm just going to play through. So we got the lower third. So Arturo here is talking about what is he calling it? Let's see here. I know you can't hear it, but hold on. Kids Ministry Information Meeting. I don't think we have a graphic that says that, but we can repurpose a different graphic and it doesn't really matter which one. This is kind of one of our standards right now. So I'm just going to grab it. There's different ways of doing it. You could highlight it, hit Command C, and then just come over here and hit Command V. Whoops, I didn't want it to, it kind of ate into the one next to it. It really doesn't matter actually. Sure, I'm just going to make that a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to hit that Command or Control V. Command V if you're on a Mac, Control V if you're on a PC. And make a new title for this one. And this one's going to be called Kids Ministry Info. So if I double click on this title, you'll see that in the top right corner, there's an option for this white text, and then there's an option for this black text underneath. If I double click on the white text and just click inside the box, you can say Kids Ministry Info Meeting. This one's kind of nice because the lettering kind of matches up. I mean, this is just a stylistic thing. I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not the best at text, but one thing that I like to do is try to keep it feeling a little bit balanced. So one way of doing that, for example, here for Kids Ministry Info Meeting, to make it about the same width as the top. Let me see here, actually. There's a couple ways of doing it. One, I could either just shrink the font of the top one, just kind of match it up a little bit. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but whatever, I'm doing it on this one. And then you'll notice some of the spacing kind of got messed up a little bit. if I double click on the info meeting, you can move the baseline of the text up and kind of just adjust that there. And now let me just see what the details are on this one in terms of the timing of it. March 19th after second service. March 19th after second. Okay, so March 19th after, this is the fun part, after second service. How do we make that look good? After second service. Maybe March 19th is a little bigger. Yeah, I don't know. I think this white text may need to be a little bit smaller because we're going to start to eat into Arturo's head a little bit here. So this is just kind of not right or wrong, and I'm sure others are probably better at getting this than I am, but kids info meeting March 19th after second service, just so it doesn't start to feel too crowded. And you'll notice here I need a little space, probably, well, yeah, I just want a little space more between the March 19th and that line. So I'm going to double click on this line again and then scrub it down and maybe make that text a little bigger. What's going on? Ugh, I had an extra space, I think, going on. Yeah, people with OCD could probably tell when it's right, but I can't. So, oh wait, that's not great. There, it's a little off center. All right, close enough. So that's kind of the process for the titles. You can just kind of copy and paste and then modify them. You can double click again up here for the white, here for the black section. You can also move the entire sections up and down by using these little align options to go left and right, up and down. But within the text, if you want the spacing to be different, that's when these other options kind of come into play. All right, yeah, I'm thinking I want a little more. This seems a little too tight between kids ministry and info meeting. Sorry, I'm gonna. These are the things that just eats up the time, but all right. Probably making it worse. Whatever. Okay, well, good enough for now. We'll come back to that one maybe if I have time later. But from here, just kind of going down the line. Costa Rica missions trip, Pastor Leonard. And Mitch, how you doing? You still with me? Falling asleep?
Nope, I'm still
Still
here.
okay.
No, I'm right there with you when it comes to the design stuff. So I'm glad to hear someone else doesn't have an eye for it either. So, but that
No,
looks good. That looks good to me.
yeah, another thing that I'll try every once in a while, just kind of a trick. If I don't want it to be necessarily like, say for example, this March 10th was a lot larger than I really want. Um, if you wanted it to be a smaller font, but you wanted to kind of match a little bit more and not look kind of unbalanced, you can grab this tracking option and just extend out the spacing a little bit. And that's just another kind of a trick. But if you have to extend it out too far, it starts to look a little funky. But um, yeah, just another tool.
Yeah. I'm
Have you,
glad we went over text because I don't think we jumped in too much of that last time, so that was good to see.
yeah, have you used text much before on anything?
No. Mm-mm.
Um, yeah, text is a whole beast. That's one thing that I think Noah is really great about, and there's a few others in um, at the church who definitely have a better eye than I do. But okay, so we'll go over to Costa Rica mission trips, Pastor Leonard. And that one I don't believe is in here either. If I just go by list view, I'm not seeing anything Costa Rica-ish or Pastor Leonard. So most likely I need to go back to that folder that I downloaded from Christian. And I'm looking for Costa Rica or Pastor Leonard. And I'm not seeing either. Did I miss that one? I might have to come back on that one later. All right, let's just skip that one. I'll come back to it. Men's breakfast, Pastor Andrew. Here I see men's breakfast, Pastor Andrew. Drag it in again. I don't want to drag it in while it's highlighted on B-roll for countdown. Otherwise it's gonna, whoop, I probably accidentally just threw it in there because I let go. It doesn't look like I moved it. Cool. So we'll try it again. So just off to the side. And men's breakfast, Pastor Andrew. Hey there, men. Pastor Andrew here. Just want to let you guys know we have a men's breakfast coming up. If you'd like to save the date on the calendar, this one's going to be on Saturday, March 18th. Wonderful time for us to fellowship, worship, eat a delicious meal. $5. Sign up on church website under the events tab, and we hope to see you there. God bless. Okay, so that was a little longer one. I'm just going to see if I'm going to be needing this one moving forward. What is this? Felix Ortiz, and we're talking about Spanish outreach. And I don't think we're going to be using it again today. Let's see. Nope, not on the list for today. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete this one. And I'm just going to move this one again down the line. This is the lower third title for Pastor Felix, and I don't think he's going to make an appearance. Nope, on this one. So I could just delete that graphic because I know I'm not going to use it. But this other one here is the one that I had saved for Pastor Andrew earlier, his name. So I'm going to move it back over because I'm going to be utilizing it and getting it up as close as I can. Oh, I'm going to come through and tweak it later. I just don't want to waste all the time with that just now, but it'll have to get done at some point. Oops, I don't. There we go. So now I'm just going to double click on Pastor Andrew so it's not at 100%. Effect controls, motion, scale, go to 50. Normally, when I double clicked, you probably saw it just already popped out into this view. Just know there's a lot of times you have to do the drop downs if they're not showing up for the different parameters. So make another title for men's breakfast, and I'll just kind of go down the line on this front. A lot of it at this point will just kind of be repeat, and I don't want to um, fry your brain too much. So if you want, is this a good kind of refresher, Mitch?
Yeah, I think that was really good actually. It helped to see it the second time. I think the first time I was a little bit overwhelmed, but this time it feels a little bit more tangible.
Yeah, and
So
it'll
yeah,
become even more tangible once you've had a chance to get your hands on it too.
yeah,
Cool. Well, it'll start to click in eventually, and we'll just take it, yeah, one step at a time.
sweet. Yeah,
So,
thank you. I think next week I should be able to be at Aspire, so maybe we can do like a remote session on maybe next Monday.
cool.
We'll
Sounds
see.
good.
Cool. Well, thank you again, Daniel. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye.